Okay, in today's lecture, we'll study different types of loads. See, basically, there are three types of loads which we are going to focus. The first type of load is concentrated load. If you look at this diagram, concentrated load in the sense, if the load is acting at a single point, then such type of a load is called as concentrated load or also called as point load. So practically, if we consider, there are no loads which will be acting at single point. Okay, so how do we consider concentrated load is, if there is a load acting at some small area, then that area we can consider it as a point, or we can neglect that area, and then the load we can consider it as concentrated load. And the unit for load can be taken as kilonewton or also Newton. Then second type of load is called as uniformly distributed load, or in short it is also called as UDL. See, this is the example for UDL or representation of UDL. You can represent UDL in two forms, like this, in rectangular form with downward arrow which indicates the direction of the force, or you can represent the UDL in this way also. Then what is uniformly distributed load? As the name indicates, if we consider this line as a beam, okay, and if the load is distributed uniformly along the length of the beam, then such a load is called as uniformly distributed load. The best example is the beams of our homes. Okay, if this is a beam, okay, and if we consider this as a beam in our respective homes, and this beam will be subjected to load from the concrete slab, okay, and that concrete slab will be applying uniform load throughout the length of the beam. Okay, if I consider this point, then the load will be same. If I consider this point, then the load will be same. At all the points along the length of the beam, the load will be same. But the thing we need to understand here is, we represent this uniformly distributed load in terms of load intensity, not the load. Then what is load intensity? Load intensity is nothing but load per unit length. That is nothing but, if I in this beam, if I consider a beam of unit length, say 1 meter, okay, if I consider a unit length beam 1 meter, then in that 1 meter length beam, what is the value of load which is acting? That is called as load intensity. So load intensity is nothing but load per unit length of the beam. Look at the unit of the load is Newton and length is meter. So unit of load intensity will become Newton per meter. But for analysis purpose, when we solve the problem, we need to convert this load intensity into a point load. It will be easy for us to analyze. Then how to convert load intensity into load is, if you look at this, it is giving me a rectangle. Okay, now to convert this load intensity into a point load like this, what we need to do is, we need to take the area of this load intensity. What is the area of rectangle? It is nothing but height into width, or length into height. So what is the length? Length of this beam is L. And what is the height? Height is nothing but load intensity. Higher the height, higher the load intensity. So load intensity is W and length is L. Area becomes W into L. Then this UDL is converted into point load. Then where should this point load act? That is the next question. This point load, after converting this UDL into point load, then the point load will be acting exactly at the center of this length. Total length was L. Okay, after converting UDL into point load, it becomes W into L, because area is W, height is W and length is L. So the point load will be W into L and it will be acting exactly at the center. That is L by 2 from this end or L by 2 from this end. Now look at this point unit of this point load. When I convert it into point load, that is W into L, then it will become, W is load intensity, which is given as Newton per meter. Here we have seen it, Newton per meter. Then length is having a unit of meter. meter and meter will get cancelled, so remaining unit is Newton, which is nothing but unit of a point load. So this is about uniformly distributed load. When we are solving problem, we need to convert UDL into a point load by considering the area. The next type of load is called as uniformly varying load, or in short it can be written as UVL. As the name indicates, uniformly varying. The load is going to vary from one point to another point, but it is going to vary uniformly. Suppose this is a beam, okay, having a length L, and on this beam there is a load applied, which is shown in this way. Okay, downward arrow means the load is applied in downward direction. If the arrow indicates in upward direction, load will be applied in upward direction. Okay, now if you look at this, the load at this end is 0, and as I move towards the left side of the beam, the load is varying uniformly. It is varying, it is not constant. It is 0. Suppose load here is 0, and suppose here it is 10 kilonewton, here it will be 20 kilonewton, here it will be 30 kilonewton, and here it will be 40 kilonewton. So load is varying uniformly by an amount of 10 kilonewton. That is the example I have taken. Then how to mention this load is, it is again represented by load intensity and represented by W. Load intensity is again load per unit length. Load per unit length. That means if I consider unit length of beam, on that unit length, suppose this is 1 meter from this end to this end, on this 1 meter length of beam, what is the load that is distributed? That itself is the load intensity. So load per unit length will be having a unit of load is Newton, per unit length is meter. Now again, for analysis purpose, when we solve the problems, we need to convert this UVL into point load. Then how to convert UVL into point load? Then again we need to consider area of this load. If you look at this load, it is somewhat looking like triangle. So what is the area of the triangle? Area of the triangle is nothing but half base into height. Height is nothing but load intensity W, okay, and base is nothing but length. So if I convert this UVL into point load here like this, then it becomes half base is load intensity W and length is L. Again look at the unit. What is the unit of load intensity? It is Newton per meter. What is the unit of length? It is meter. Then meter and meter will get cancelled, so remaining is just load unit, that is Newton. Then second question is where this point load will be acting. Again this point load will be acting at the centroid of the triangle. Just like in UDL, we consider the point load will be acting at the centroid, that is exactly at the center of rectangle. Here also the point load will be acting at the centroid. For a triangle, centroid will be from here. If we consider distance, it will be L by 3, and from here if we consider a distance, then it will be 2L by 3. This is about UVL. If we consider a practical example where this UVL will be applied is, if we consider this, consider a container in which I have taken, suppose say a liquid water, okay, and it is stationary. We all know that when the liquid is stationary or static, then pressure at any point is given by this formula, that is P is equal to rho g h. Okay, P is equal to rho g h, where rho is density. If I consider this to be water, density will not going to be changing, so density is constant. G is acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity is also constant. H is height. Okay, if I consider this point which is at the top of the surface, and height from reference, that is top of water, to this point height will be 0. If I consider any point at the surface, the height will be 0. So if height is 0, then pressure will become 0. So at this point pressure is 0. If I consider the second point, the height from surface to this point is increasing, then pressure will also increase, because rho g is constant, only H is increasing. As H increases, pressure is increasing. Again if I consider the bottom point, then again the height is going to increase from this surface to this point. The height is increasing, so again the pressure is going to increase. Now you can look here, the pressure is 0 here. As I move towards right side, pressure is increasing. Again if I look at here, this point, pressure value is increasing. Finally at the bottommost point, the pressure will be maximum, because height from the surface to the bottommost point is maximum, so pressure will be maximum. So here the pressure is varying uniformly with respect to height. This is the best example which we can find UVL. Other best example is if you consider tree branches will be, if I consider one branch, then it will be tapering along its length, it will be tapered along its length. And if we consider self weight of the tree branch, then the weight will be maximum where the branch will be attached to the main branch, and as we move towards the right, the diameter of the branch reduces, and there the weight will be minimum. Other example is dam gate. If you look at this gate, okay, towards the left side the water is stored, and that water will be applying pressure onto this dam gate just like this, and that pressure will be minimum at the top and maximum at the bottom. This is the example for UVL. Okay, so these are the concepts about UDL, UVL and concentrated load. Okay, now after types of loads, we'll move on to types of beams. Okay, there are different types of beams. Among them, first one is simply supported beam. Okay, simply supported beam is a beam in which the supports are provided at the ends. Okay, if this is a beam, then the supports are provided at the ends. Okay, and apart from that, one support will be compulsorily hinge support or pin support, just like a door, and one support will be a roller support. You cannot have two roller supports or two hinge supports. The reason is, if we consider example of a beam, see, when I'm talking about beam, it doesn't mean the beams are only with respect to the structures. For example, beams in our houses. Beams may be anything which is subjected to transfer load. It may be part of a machine member. For example, if you consider lathe bed, okay, lathe bed will be subjected to a transverse load. That also you can consider as a beam. Or if you consider the flyovers or the bridges, that also you can consider it as a beam, because when the vehicle will be moving over the flyover, that weight of the vehicle will be in transverse direction to the beam. Okay, now coming back to simple support, if you consider a bridges, okay, now if I provide hinge support at both ends, suppose here also I am providing hinge support and here also I am providing hinge support, then this beam cannot move in horizontal direction. When it is locked in this support, if this is also hinge support, then it is locked here also, and if this is also hinge support, then it is locked here also. Suppose in summer the temperature increases, then what happens is, because of increase in temperature, this beam will try to elongate. When it is trying to elongate, since both the supports are hinged, the supports will not allow the beam to move right or left. Then what happens is, because they are arresting the movement of the beam, there will be stresses induced, just like thermal stresses. Okay, but if I put one support as hinge support and second support as roller support, this roller support, what it can do is, it can allow the movement in horizontal direction. So if temperature increases of this beam and if it is trying to elongate, then what happens is, this support will move towards the right. Okay, it will not completely arrest the movement of this beam. If it arrests the movement of the beam, then stresses will be induced inside this beam. But if it is moving towards the right, then what happens is, it is allowing the beam to stretch a little bit. Because of that, then there will not be any stresses induced. That is why simply supported beam, at one end it is provided with hinge support and other end is roller support. See, when I am talking about stretching of the beam, it will not be like 2 centimeter, 5 centimeter or very high stretching. It will be very small. Okay, you cannot observe it in naked eyes. So this is about simply supported beam. In hinge support you can have two reaction, you can also have in horizontal reaction, but we are only focusing on vertical reaction. So there is a vertical reaction at hinge support also, and there is a vertical reaction at roller support also. Then next type of support is overhanging beam. Overhanging beam is nothing but it is just like a simple support only. Here you can see it is simply supported beam only, but the beam is going to have extension beyond the support. Here only up till support we were having the length of the beam. Here length of the beam is going beyond the support. Such type of beams are called as overhang beam. Then we are having continuous beam. Continuous beam is most commonly observed in all the flyovers or railway bridges, or when the beam length is too long. Okay, when the beam length is too long, we cannot support the beam only using two supports like we did in simply supported beam. We require more than two supports. When the beam is supported by more than two supports, then such type of support is called as continuous beam. Now coming to next type of sub beam, it is called as cantilever beam. Cantilever beam is represented by this symbol. Okay, this symbol represents that beam is completely fixed inside this support. We cannot move beam left, right or up and down. It is completely fixed. Okay, this is called as cantilever beam. We all know that cantilever beam can have three reaction: vertical, horizontal and also movement, but our focus is only on vertical. No need to consider horizontal reactions. Okay, consider only vertical. This movement is also because of the vertical force itself, so we can consider only movement and vertical reaction. Horizontal force is not of importance for us. Then similarly in cantilever beam, if the length of the beam is too long, okay, then we need to support this cantilever beam at the end. When this cantilever beam is supported with any support at the end, then it becomes propped cantilever beam. Okay, the next type of support is called as fixed beam. Fixed beam is nothing but if the beam is supported, is fixed at both the ends, just like the beams in our buildings. If it is fixed at both the ends, then such type of a beam are called as fixed beam. Okay, this is about different types of beams.